football was always something that we were involved in as a family, and it was always something very social for me as well. So my first involvement with the Dublin setup came in 2012. I played minor in 2011 and 2010, and then we'd had an under-21 campaign in 2012 that we managed to win the All-Ireland, and then Pat Gilroy brought me in just at the start of the championship. So that year was a pretty steep learning curve for me. I was just doing my leaving cert and I never really got into the team, but it was great to share a dressing room with people who you'd seen like lifting Sam Maguire the year before. On a senior level, it came against Laois in 2012. In the 73rd minute, I think, I was brought on as a sub to kind of use up a bit of time, but that was a pretty unbelievable experience. I think it was an All-Ireland quarter-final, and it was just great to walk out and be in the mix and in a full house Croke Park. My dad would have had a massive influence on me throughout my GA career from when I was very young. Kind of after every match, he'd be my first port of call for, did you think this went well? Do you think I could improve on whatever aspect of the game? Even coming back from the injury, he was a great man to chat to about what direction I'd go with my rehab, and to try and turn that time period into an advantage for me to kind of work on some areas that I might have been a bit weaker in. The moment when I got injured, the start of the final, is one that I definitely remember. I felt good for the first couple of minutes. I thought I was on track to have a solid performance and help us win, and then I just went to change direction and it just didn't fancy it, so it was very, very painful. I probably knew straight away that I was done for the day anyway, but again, then the nature of the game that it was really tense, and you couldn't take your eye off it for a second, so the fact that we won also helped me get over it. I couldn't get out of bed the next morning, basically. I woke up and just couldn't move. It was really, really sore. It's a very slow burner at the start, so you kind of build up your quad muscles before you get the operation, and you can do a good bit then, but then once you go under the knife, you're back, not even back to square one, you're back past square one kind of, and for nearly a month you're just working on trying to straighten your leg fully and bend it fully, which is, frustrating enough. My first game back, that was nearly the most challenging part of the recovery process, and I kind of probably built it up in my head that I'd worked so hard that once I got back I'd be back. And I came on at half time and I was brutal, really bad, and we lost, and I was really pissed off for a while. Then you kind of start thinking, am I ever going to get back to being as good? Which is ridiculous, you've been out for 8 months or whatever, and I couldn't expect to come back and play well. Yeah, I've been happy with the level I've gotten back to, all right. After every game there's always room for improvement and things that you could have done a bit better. The feeling when you win All-Ireland is incredible. It's a funny one in that initially, in my experience, it's just been relief, really, that you've done it, as opposed to that kind of joy that for me has always kind of sank in slowly as the kind of following days progress, and you realise and take stock of what has actually been won and what you've achieved. On final day, I always make a habit of, when you're in that parade going around before, you're thinking so much about your performance, your match, but you just turn it off for 30 seconds, for a minute, look around, take a couple of deep breaths and appreciate it, and it is just so cool. It's not something I've been able to replicate anywhere else. So I think if you don't enjoy days like that, you're not going to enjoy a whole pile.